Welcome! So I think it was about 3 months ago, or maybe a bit more, when I showed in a video on the channel a load of Within Temptation studio albums. I decided, after getting into the Dutch symphonic metal band, really as a casual listener some years ago, but I started listening to them more this year really, and the first physical release I'd got was prior to that, and it was their excellent covers album, the Q Music Sessions. So I collected all the studio albums and showed those a few months ago, and we're back doing it again. Not the studio albums though, I'm going to show you all the live albums that I was able to pick up, and at the end of the video I'll talk about stuff that I'm still missing. And also I decided to get as many of the singles as I can by Within Temptation as well. So without further ado, let's crack on. I've got 3 mailers to open. First one has 1 album in it. This is from a record shop I've never used before, Orchard Records, and they're in Chessington, presumably the same Chessington as in the World of Adventure. As for prices of these, I can't really remember, as is usually the case. I think this one, including postage, was around just over 30, I think. And it is the first of, I think, at least 3 live albums I'll be showing you today. The Silent Force Tour. So the Silent Force is a Within Temptation album. Don't ask me which one it is in their chronology, as even though I've got it, I've listened to it, I've enjoyed them all, by the way. Fantastic stuff. I'm not very good at remembering what release year was what. I love a live album. After getting all the studio albums from Within Temptation, it was inevitable that I would want to come back and embellish the collection with a live album. Of course, as is the vast majority of Within Temptation's physical vinyl releases, this has been released by Music on Vinyl. I think this is like a later reissue of an album from, I'm trying to find the date on it. Well, the copyright date as far as Music on Vinyl is concerned is 2023, but the album itself was some years prior to that. This is just on black vinyl, so I won't get it open. I don't think it's individually numbered either, as a lot of MOV releases are. So that's that one. Thank you to Orchard Records for a great first transaction. Now to a more familiar name, at least for those of you who watch the channel regularly, Denmark's iMusic. There'll be 2 records in here, or 2 items, as one of them may well be a double record. I can't actually remember offhand. Some good packaging from iMusic as always, and although I had to wait a little while for these to get in stock, they were part of a Music on Vinyl sale at iMusic, where pretty much the entire MOV catalogue listed at iMusic was reduced in price. So first thing is The Dance, and this is basically an EP. Quite an early release, at least originally when it came out on CD. I think this is late 90s, and it's got 5 tracks on it. I'll just hold it up there for a moment so that you can see. It is black vinyl once again, so I'm not going to worry too much about looking at it, but I will show you some actual discs very soon, no doubt. Happy to have that. So that's the first single or EP that you've seen today. There will be more coming up. And also, this is their most recent, at least on vinyl anyway, live album, Worlds Collide Tour, live in Amsterdam. This was a good price. The Dance, by the way, I think that was around 15. This one was around something like 22 or 23, and they both had reductions on them. Double album this. This has come out in a few different vinyl variants, but this one seemed the best price for like a non-black edition that I could find, as this one is the white marbled vinyl. It's a double album. It includes a 4-page photo insert. Wow. Alright, I will get this open, why not? I'm not the biggest fan of Music on Vinyl's adhesive outer sleeves, as I've mentioned many times before. I mean, I know I could do away with them, but they always have the hype stickers on the front, so it'd be a bit of a faff trying to save those. Anyway, there's the gatefold, he says, as he about slaps himself in the face with it. and we'll look at one of the discs. So as I say, this is the most recent live album on vinyl, I believe. But they have been releasing a lot of CDs on their, I think, Bleed Out tour. They class them as official bootlegs, so you can buy basically like a dozen or more. But it's a tactic I know other groups have done in the past, like Depeche Mode did it for a couple of tours years ago in conjunction with probably Live Here Now, where every date on a tour gets released on CD, a fairly bare bones packaged CD, and Within Temptation are doing something similar. So if you do want to check them out on CD, those particular gigs, I don't think there's been any in the UK that have been released, and even if there was, it's not like I would have gone to any anyway. So it's not like I'm after a personal souvenir of a concert. I'll just get whatever's live on vinyl no matter where they played. A couple of nice ones from iMusic there, and we will finish with this big one here that is from the Within Temptation online shop. Of course, that is basically run by Music on Vinyl. Some of this isn't available on Music on Vinyl's website. You have to go to the Within Temptation website and then to their web store within that. So this was quite an expensive package, maybe pushing £150, I think. Don't know what order these are going to come in, so I'm just going to take them from the top really. Let's have a bit of a count up just to remind myself how many items I did order in this. Looks like 6 altogether. So first, the 7-inch singles. This one is Bleed Out. It is actually individually numbered. It's quite unusual to get a single from Music on Vinyl actually. They always seem to be about the albums, but yeah. Individually numbered at 472. Bleed Out and Bleed Out Instrumental, so this is a very recent single from them. Although it's not the most recent, as I think that one's coming in a little moment. Happy to have that. Let's put that one over there as it's smaller. Then this one, Wireless. What year did this come out? 2023. I think Wireless is from the Bleed Out album as well. They're a bit inessential, as you can no doubt tell, as they've just got the track and then the instrumental version on the B-side. More collector's items than anything, but I do like a 7-inch single, and I thought in for a penny, in for a pound. I want to get all the live albums and the 12-inch EPs, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to get as many of the 7-inch singles as is available as well. So here is the brand new single. This one only came out very recently. Oh, did Wireless have a number? Yeah, 293 by the way. But the new single, this is a very recent release, the last month or two, and it is Within Temptation and Jerry Heil, Sing Like a Siren. I've not heard this track. I mean, I can go away and listen to it. It's going to be on YouTube, Amazon Music, blah blah blah. But you know, I've got the single now, so I'll listen to this. Whether this will be a standalone single, I'm not sure, or whether it's a precursor to an upcoming album. That would be pretty cool if it was. It's got the track Sing Like a Siren on side A and the instrumental on side B. Jerry Heil, from what I know about her, she represented the Netherlands in Eurovision a couple of years or so, I think. I hope I'm getting my information right there. I might have to look it up, and then if I'm wrong, I'll have to correct myself. But she's something to do with Eurovision. I know the Netherlands were actually disqualified from last year's Eurovision, weren't they? And I don't think they took part this year, but I didn't watch it this year, so kind of over Eurovision Song Contest, to be honest. Anyway, enough about that. Can't wait to hear that. Within Temptation featuring Jerry Heil. Next one on the pile is another EP, 12-inch, and it is Restless. A quite early single in the WT chronology, but reissued, and it's got a nice Record Store Day sticker on. So this came out for a Record Store Day at some point. 2022 seems to be the copyright date. The individual number of mine is 1006. Big hype sticker on here. Ah yes, now I remember this one is actually single-sided, and I will get it out to show you why. 4 tracks on it, by the way. That lovely noise of tape glue being unstuck. Quite unusual that. It's like that's not been cut out properly, but it's fine. That's your white disc. Looks pretty unexciting, but it's got this photo print on the back. So no audio on this side. All 4 tracks are on side A, but we have a photo print, and you can tell there's no grooves on it. It's like a, I wouldn't say a smooth feeling side, it's more matte really, but you can tell there's no grooves here. That's quite unusual. Obviously I've got plenty of picture discs, and I've got a few single-sided discs with like etchings on the other side, but I think that's my first single-sided disc with like a printed photo on it. I think this Restless EP and the next one to show you, they had like a special bundle price at the Within Temptation web store. If you bought them both together, you saved a little bit of money, but I can't remember how much that was. And the price for all this was in euros. As I said earlier, I think ultimately it worked out at around £150, give or take, including relatively reasonable prices in postage. I think about a tenner in postage from the Netherlands, of course. Right, so next one is the Aftermath EP. So this is the one that was bundled with the Restless EP. More recent than Restless. That one, it does say on the bottom, taken from the album Enter, which was their debut album back in the 90s. 4 tracks on this. Let's read the hype sticker, see if there's anything interesting to look at. Limited edition of 3000 on crystal clear vinyl, and an exclusive full colour print on side B. So once again, it's single-sided. My number, by the way, is 2515 or 2515. I don't know why I said it weird there. So another plain inner. It's got a nice feeling, feels like it should be sort of lenticular, this. I don't think it is, but it's got that sort of slightly frictiony feel to the front cover. Oh, that's really nice. That'll be the playable side, presumably. Yeah, I can see the grooves. And there's the centre label, and on the back there are no grooves, but you can still see these printed images. So it's markedly different from the Restless 12-inch. I like that. Quite a unique disc in my collection as well. Very nice. Aftermath. And finally is Mother Earth Tour, another live album, another double live album, and another one that's just been reissued relatively recently on black vinyl. So I think this was their first sort of major tour, and then it came out on DVD, I think, back in the early 2000s. And then many years later it actually got a vinyl and presumably a digital and CD release as well. So sort of it's kind of the first Within Temptation live album, but it's not if you don't count the DVD. Nothing really much to speak of here. Very excited to hear it, as I am for everything. So that is my Within Temptation haul from the WT web store, and of course also Orchard Music and iMusic. What am I missing? There is some earlier singles. I've been looking on Discogs. The prices, if you're in continental Europe, they're not too bad, but getting them imported over here makes them for, 7 inches that aren't really an absolute necessity for even a fairly intense collector like me. It makes them a little bit prohibitive, but I'm going to keep looking. I might find a good deal. There's also eBay, of course. All those older ones have been deleted, so Within Temptation and Music on Vinyl themselves aren't selling them anymore, but you never know about repressings and things like that. As for albums, there's still a couple of albums that I'm missing. Both of them tend to go for quite a lot. There's an acoustic live album and there's like a symphonic live album as well. I think the acoustic one is relatively reasonable if you don't mind paying a little bit for international postage and taxes and stuff on the aftermarket, and the other one, the symphonic live album, is just ridiculous money. But I will aim to try and have a full collection of Within Temptation, albums wise anyway, and it'd be nice to get the rest of the vinyl singles as well, but certainly those 2 albums I would like to get at some point. So watch this space, I suppose. But that's going to do it from me. Thank you all for watching this with me today. I want to say special thanks to my wonderful subscribers and of course those generous patrons of mine. I'm going to go now. I'm going to listen to everything here from the fantastic Within Temptation, a band I've really fallen in love with this year, and they've kind of rocketed up in my all-time favourite bands list, which doesn't actually exist, only kind of in my head. It's a video I'm thinking about doing eventually, actually. One where I just list probably at least a top 50, I'd have thought, all my all-time favourite bands in some sort of ranked order. But now I've said that, I suppose I'm going to have to hold myself to it at some point, but that's going to be quite a big project. First of all, I need to write it all down and work out exactly where I want particular acts to be, and then I'll probably end up changing my mind multiple times before I actually get to make the video. But anyway, that's for another day, and quite a way in the future, no doubt. So I'm going to go and listen to some Within Temptation, and I do hope that all of you will join me again next time for my next record collecting video. Cheers, everyone. See ya!